for staying with us. And if you've just arrived, okay, you're in good time. This is the second half of the program. I want to look at the development agenda for Western Nigeria. Well, actually, I should rephrase that. We have as our guest this time Mr. Seye OYELEYE, who is the Director General of Dawn Commission, Development Agenda for Western Nigeria Commission. And why Mr. Ogunleye comes into the matter, of course, is because, you know, he's a key player in the whole security of Western Nigeria, among other things. And this is, when you talk security in these modern times, we're talking about AMOTEKUN, which has been explained by the likes of Mr. OYELEYE himself and even governors, that AMOTEKUN is essentially a community policing outfit. Now, the president, no less, has released a statement, as it were, on community policing. And so, first of all, I want to ask, and thank you very much, Mr. OYELEYE, for making time. Good morning to you, sir. I wonder, I hope your phone isn't muted by accidentally.
Good morning, Mr. Folarin. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, now we can hear you loud and clear. Yori in studio here with Cyril Abaku. Thank you very much for making time for us. Now, did you hear my introduction about...
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So what would be your take? Because you've stated it in the past, for the avoidance of doubt, it is not going to conflict with the police, that is AMOTEKUN. It is purely a community policing setup.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically what it says on the tin. Western Nigeria Security Network, as the governors have stated when it was launched, and they've reiterated at several fora, that the Western Nigeria Security Network, or AMOTEKUN as it's widely or popularly called, is meant to be a complementary security outfit to the existing security architecture. And there should be no misgiving or misunderstanding about the roles that it will play. Purely a complementary security outfit to the police, to the army, civil defense. That's it, nothing else.
Yeah, so how does this come into play, in light of the fact that AMOTEKUN took the first step, and then the president says it is releasing money for community policing? Will there be an alternative structure in the Southwest here?
You see, let me put it this way. We run a federal structure, and every time I've been asked this question, I try to emphasize that this is Federal Republic of Nigeria. The country has a population, estimated population of about 200 million and still counting. We have a police force of about 400,000, with about 150,000 of them not on active policing duties, meaning that we only have about 250,000 actively engaged in policing duties for 400 million people. So if the Western Nigeria governors, in their wisdom, felt that let's have a security outfit that can complement the efforts of the police, and then the federal government comes up with community policing as another level of police. Look, you see, let me use the example of the United States of America. They have over 15,000 different police structures. In Nigeria at the moment, we have the federal police, then we have several security networks in different states. The community policing idea of the federal government, even though my own idea is different, but what they are doing is a welcome development. Different levels and different layers of policing is welcome for a country of 200 million people. I don't see the conflict, and I'm actually a bit bemused listening to some commentators over the last few days saying that since it's community policing, what then is the necessity for AMOTEKUN? And I'm saying that no. There is more. In fact, if we can also have local government policing, why not? If apart from the federal government one, my own idea, let me be frank here, is I don't even believe that the federal government should be the one directly involved in community policing. It should be a state affair, but that's a story for another day. But what I'm saying here is that I don't see any conflict. The community policing is a federal initiative. The AMOTEKUN is a state initiative born out of the insecurity challenges that was faced by the region about 18 months ago. That's all.
And the states in the West that came up with that initiative, you know, probably have ideas of funding of their own.
Absolutely. You see, again, I've been asked this question that, oh, how are they going to fund this thing? Without giving much away, I can tell you that a lot of thought. I mean, I had an organization, Dawn Commission, as you rightly said, that actually came up with this idea. We brought some eggheads together, and we came up with this idea of Western Nigeria Security Network. And the funding for it, the mode of funding has been agreed. It's not something I'm authorized to put out in public here, but it will be funded properly. Don't also forget, and we say this all the time, that our governors have security votes. Presently, a lot of the security vote is spent on the police in their respective states. People don't know that. You know, when you read the papers, oh, security votes, what's the governor using it for? They spend it on funded, because the federal government, over time, with the fiscal challenges they are facing, the police are not properly funded. So if the state governments are using their what's it called, their security votes to fund the police, they can also use part of it anyway to fund the AMOTEKUN that they've set up. And I can assure you, the governors are not frivolous in setting up. They know that it needs funding. Security is not cheap, but the federal government alone, in the federal structure, cannot just say we are the only ones in charge of security. It cannot work.
Okay, one moment, Seye. Reverend Dominic, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Swail.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Yori. Please, I want to ask this question. If you can help me answer it, or the experts. What is wrong with Nigerian police? If we get what is wrong with Nigerian police that makes it ineffective, then we can find an alternative that can be effective. But when we cannot find that answer, that something is wrong with this police, it cannot police us, it cannot secure us. Is it because we're not paying well? Is it because we don't have equipment? Or that we're paying well and we have equipment and they cannot? Now, if this answer is not given, AMOTEKUN will get the same problem. Community police will get the same problem. Because talking about securing Nigeria, we are vulnerable. Things are going haywire. In my lifetime as a pastor, as a historian, and I've traveled wide, I have not seen where security is discussed on television. People are vulnerable, people are dying every day, and we're arguing about community police, Lagos police, Eastern police. How does things work? I had the governor of Ondo State a few days ago. He said, how are we going to pay? And that's a good question. The other day, the federal government came that some states in Nigeria are insolvent, which is true. They have no money to pay salary. Will you get money to pay security? And we are going to create a number. Because the problem today is that we have police you cannot buy boots for, you cannot buy uniform for, you cannot buy guns. They will go to market side and buy uniform. And somebody also go and buy uniform and to become a police.
And in addition, Dominic,
nobody's talking about it.
Dominic, there are also those. Dominic, there are also those that are saying that we are under police. Look, Seye was just telling us there that we have, about 400,000 odd, policemen. And again, an estimated figure of 200 million people. We've also been hearing that we are under police. But Seye, would you like to, address the point made by the Reverend?
Absolutely. You see, he touched an issue there. He was talking about, let me start this way. Because of the way we've been configured since 1966, when the military took over, because between 60 and 66, we had the democracy, but by 66, the military came into our polity. Now, because of the way we've been configured since 1966, we are so used to, in Nigeria, that command and control, that somebody at the top has to give orders and everybody must follow. Now, we keep forgetting all the time that this is a country of about 400 different ethnic nationalities, 200 million people, a federal country. There's no, number one, there's no one-size-fits-all to our challenges. Secondly, because we are different people, our peculiarities are not the same. So when he was saying what is wrong with the police, as an example, when we are talking of the reason policing is effective in so many other countries is because it starts from bottoms up. It starts from the community, which is a step this government is trying to do now with their own community policing, although I believe the approach is wrong. Effective policing starts from the locality. The people will then feel connected. But when you go 1,000 kilometers away and bring a DPO from a policeman to come to another locale to be the head of police there, he doesn't understand the culture, the nuances of the people, and there's no connection. So there is a bit of fear. They don't want to go and talk to him or relate with him. If the policeman is not connected to that locality, it becomes very challenging for him to provide effective policing. That's one. Now, he touched on financing. And we have said over time, and I've just mentioned it, that yes, states have challenges, but security is not cheap. A state governor that goes abroad and says, I want to attract investors, that investor will only open his or her own iPad, check your state. Oh, 3 people were kidnapped yesterday in that state. He will politely listen to you and tell you, Mr. Governor, I'll be coming back. I will get back to you, meaning that he's not going to come. But the money invested on security is not lost money. Moreover, what we are also pushing for, and again, I'm glad the Senate is trying to revisit that in calling for memoranda when they're now saying they want to review the Constitution, is that the fiscal arrangement itself must be reviewed so that states can get a bit more. The responsibilities of the states are far greater now than it was maybe 30, 40 years ago. So I still see no reason why the federal government should sit on more than half of the revenue and then tell the states to struggle on the remaining bits and local government. So if a bit of the federal revenue allocation is allocated to the states, I don't see any reason why they can't effectively fund security. But as it is now, using the Western Nigerian example, the states are committed to it. They know they have to fund it. They're not going to send boys and girls out there and then underfund them. No, they will do that. But on the long run, we will push that the federal allocation can also be reduced and transferred to the states. And as I said earlier on, the funding arrangement is actually been agreed. But as I said, it's not something I'm authorized to put out here.
At the moment. Okay.
Yeah, so besides,
at the moment, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. So besides the question of funding, I just want to paint a scenario so that you can, address some of the issues that come to my mind now. Yeah. So let's take a hypothetical village, a community where you have AMOTEKUN and you have federally controlled community policing personnel. Wouldn't that render AMOTEKUN potentially nominal instead of being really functional? I mean, if there was something to, if something came up, federal power will always sort of, take the lion's share or take over whatever the state is doing. How do you react to this?
Well, again, my answer is simple. When AMOTEKUN, the Western Nigerian Security Network, was formed, the idea, again, as I said, is to tap into the locality, recruit the people. The same thing with community policing, with the community police that the federal government is trying to create. But the way we are configured, I mean, I can tell you for free that in this region, I want to believe that when it goes fully operational, there shouldn't be a conflict if all of them are from the same community. Don't forget that part in the laws that set up AMOTEKUN in the various states, it stated clearly that if an AMOTEKUN officer as an core member arrests someone, you hand over that person to the police. We are meant to work hand in gloves with the existing security apparatus. And you see, yes, it's the Nigerian thing thinking that one is superior to the other. We will get to a stage where we will understand that we're all working to achieve the same goal. And
Indeed. But
it is true that, yes, sir.
But Seye, I wonder what your thoughts are, because you've been in the thick of this, as you said, Dawn itself initiated this idea, came up with this idea that was then worked on by, other minds. The federal government coming up at this time with the idea of a police, community policing, they had been quiet all this, well, maybe they had not been as active as this all this while. And then now that Western Nigeria has come up with Dawn, they say, oh, by the way, there's something we can do for policing. Do you feel any sense of some competitive sense in all of this?
You see, you've touched on an issue that I was hoping that you would touch on. But you see, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. You see, it's for over 15, 20 years, I know that there has been this clamor in the country that there has to be community policing. And as you rightly said, there was no movement, there has been no movement from the federal. Suddenly, the Southwest states felt that we needed to do something about securing lives and property of those who live within this space. So whether you are Igbo, Efik, Ibibio, Kanuri, or Ibira, as long as you live within this region, the governor's duty is to protect your life and property. So they came up with this idea of Western Nigeria Security Network. Then suddenly, the federal government woke up one morning and said, hang on, community policing is the order of the day. We need to do it now. And you're now thinking, what is the motive behind it? Can't they liaise with the state governments and say, you know what, we also want to do community policing, but we believe that this thing should be handled by the states. As simple as that. But let me tell you now, once the federal government is saying, we are setting up our own community policing, it becomes, in my own opinion, the challenges facing the Nigerian police at the moment will still face the community policing coming from the federal. It's as simple as that.
One moment, please, Sheye. I think Benson has called in from the UK. Good morning, Benson.
Okay.
Benson? Can you hear us? Good morning, Benson. If you can, go ahead. You're live now.
Hello.
Okay, good morning. Hello, Benson.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Benson Udewoke. Yeah, I'm calling from London.
Okay, quickly go in. Go on. You're live now. Let's hear you, Benson. I think there are technical issues. Okay, sorry about that, Benson. We'd like to take you, but I don't know if you can hear us or not. We heard you for a bit.
Of policing. What?
Benson?
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Benson?
Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, start again. We can hear you from now. Start, please.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that there's nothing wrong with Nigerian system. I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with Nigerian policing, with Nigerian system of policing, I mean. So the only thing there is we lack our system of police recruitment is not ideal. It's bad. As soon as we can be able to vet our new police officers coming to be employed, as soon as we can vet them correctly, now we'll be able to as well to identify criminals among the people coming. As soon as that is done, Nigerian policing is the best police ever in the world.
All right then. Indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Benson, for calling in. He relates to the point again that has been made. Sheye has made the point. Knowledgeable people about this whole matter has made the point about effective community policing arising from, and AMOTEKUN has always said it, Western Nigeria Security Network has always said that the operatives are going to come from within the community. That's the essential strength. No doubt, community policing is going to have to be like that as well. But Sheye was
as an extension of the regular police.
Yeah, as an extension. And Sheye made the point that in any case, there's no conflict before any of this. You apprehend anybody, you don't have your own system of justice.
Except that
you
for
hand
those
over
who
to the police for prosecution.
Except for those who have some reservations
necessary
about the motive, it well could.
Unless if anybody has suspicions.
I mean, for those who have suspicions and saying the timing of the federal government, So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a delicate subject, and Sheye was addressing the point. Say, why now? I mean, if anything for security is welcome. Where were you, federal government, all this while? Now that they've set up
AMOTEKUN.
this, and other peoples around the country saying we're also going to set up our own. Then the federal government says, by the way, this community policing is very, very important, and here's some money towards starting it. Am I getting somebody? Is somebody else coming in? So, Seye, would you like to continue, please? You were addressing carefully that whole issue.
You see, one of the challenges we face in Nigeria, and you just mentioned it, at times we tend to be suspicious of each other after 60 years of independence. We tend to second guess, forgetting that in a federal structure, things do not have to operate the same way. Things don't have to be the same, because in a country or in a structure where you have different ethnic nationalities, you need to take into consideration the peculiarities of each ethnic group. But you see, one of the problems we've had over the years is that we want to ram down that one-size-fits-all model for the country. So the way you address security in Jigawa, you want to use the same model to address security in Ikpenido in Osun State, or you want to use the same model in Nsukka. And I can tell you that over the years, studies have shown that things like that don't work. Yes, it's security, the same goal, but you need to take into consideration different peculiarities. So the challenges we have in Nigeria and why we have all this suspicion is because, should I say, I don't want to use the word we don't trust each other, but we try to think, let me use this word, we try to think that some people are more of stakeholders than the others. And that's not true. We're all stakeholders in this country.
Okay.
This country belongs to all.
Okay.
As simple as that.
But
so we really need to stop reading meanings, interpretations, when outfits that are set up for the betterment of Nigeria, like the Western Nigeria Security Network, because don't forget that this region, Western Nigeria, supplies about 45% of Nigeria's GDP. If this place is unsafe, Nigeria is in trouble. It's as simple as that. So anything to make this region safe is for the good of Nigeria.
And in that sense, both organizations can coexist, because you explain.
Absolutely. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, so essentially, could one say that, well, it's a welcome, it's a welcome initiative. That you can't have too much security, especially in the light of, increased crime and banditry. So to that extent, if one were to be positive about the whole thing, say, well, they might have come late to the party, but it's good that they're here. It doesn't really effectively, it doesn't disturb anything that AMOTEKUN was about, and the place will be even more secure. Is that probably the way to look at it? And you had explained that in terms of funding, governments all over the country, in any case, spend a lot of their security vote on security. So now, if the federal government is coming on it, perhaps those resources could be sort of redistributed in an equitable kind of a way, in terms of the overall objective of increased security up and down the land, not excluding Western Nigeria.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the security outfits can exist side by side. There's this example I like to cite all the time. If you take UK and take the capital, London, over there in London, taking London itself, the London city, they have different layers of policing. They have the British Transport Police in London.
That's right.
They have the City of London Police that caters for the financial center. Then they have the Metropolitan Police. Then just move slightly out of London, the surrounding shires like Essex, they have their own police, Gloucestershire. You see, and that's London and just the surrounding towns and cities with a population of less than 15 million. They have about 6, 7, 8 layers of policing. So we really need to just confront our demons in this country and know that when initiatives like this come up, it is for the good and growth of Nigeria, and we shouldn't start bringing up actions that would then allow some people to start putting in ethnic colorations. Or you see, I always say this: that if you don't conquer your fear, that which you fear will one day come and consume you.
Okay.
So you really need to face the fear and move on.
We're going to have to leave it here. Thank you for making the time to talk with us, Mr. Seye OYELEYE, Director General.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Agenda for Western
Development agenda, you meant to say?
Did I say digital?
No, you didn't.
Development agenda for Western Nigeria, Dawn Commission. And that really, brings us to the end of the program today. Thank you to all who have contributed to it by way of calling and making it what it is. Please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. And in the meantime, Cyril and I have to say, as we always do your very best to stay safe. COVID-19 hasn't gone exactly, but do your best.